Hi Divine Rebels, Bohemia with Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart readings, and today we are going to do a you and them's reading, and this is going to show your energy and their energy in the situation. It can be romantic, platonic, it can be a friend, a boss, it could be, whatever situation. We might have certain vibes that come through in a particular card combination, but we'll talk about it. Yes, so we're going to go ahead and get right into it. We have our trident back. Baby Magic had been stashing some of Mama's stuff underneath my keyboard, and so when I cleaned things and I heightened this table that I do the readings on, so we might not see so many baby hands coming through on it, but she's pretty tall. I don't know, we might. But yeah, so that's why the angle's a bit different right now that we're working with. So let me know, hopefully it will work for everybody. We still have our beautiful altar up here with all of our stuff, a little bit different. That's a summer solstice painting that my niece and I did right there, so we're a lot closer to the window now. Yes, so that's what's going on back here. Been cleaning, switching up the altars, doing all that kind of goodness. All right, so now we're going to get into our options. For number 1, we have the Merlinite. Number 2, we have Aquamarine. Number 3, we have the Honey Calcite. And number 4, we have Urchin Spine. All right, I'll give you the little close-up for those who like to better make a choice. Merlinite, number 1. Aquamarine, number 2. Honey Calcite, number 3. Yeah, I pinched my finger in a door right there. Number 4 is Urchin Spine. Ah, there we go. Yes, so those are your options. Please go ahead and pick. There should be timestamps down below. You can pick more than one option if you have more than one person that you are wondering about the dynamics of your relationship, okay? So go ahead and pick. I will see you soon as you jump the timestamp, and big ups to everyone who watches it all the way through, okay? So here we go. Like the countdown, there's 4, 3, 2, and number 1s. For those of you who chose number 1, let's see their energy and your energy. For you, we have the 8 of Pentacles. They look very similar on this deck. We have the card Sanctum. It says Sanctuary here. This is an Oracle collage deck that I made myself. We have the 2 of Swords for their energy. I love the colors on that. And we have Cosmic Community. If it was reversed, it would be on the old friends side, but it is on the Cosmic Community side. So let's get into this reading and see what's going on. The energies that I'm getting for you is that you're willing to put the work into the situation. You're like, let's get into it. Let's all contribute, what we can do good, what we can aid and help in the situation. And also let's work on where we can't pull our own weight. And if you can't do it, at least find a way to make adjustments, bring something to the table kind of energy here. We even the frog is carrying some berries on the lily pad. Like, we got to make adjustments. We got to get in. The fairies are helping. This watchful stag, the ancestors are trying to help. You might be asking your ancestors to help you. We do have that sly fox trying to keep that sly fox in check and to have things going your way. Now for some of you, this is a business situation, or the situation that involves money or career in some way, or it's just, if it's romantic relationship, it's just taking a lot of work. There could be some health concerns or issues too, where you're like, come on, let's lend a hand. I can't do this all myself. Some of you might be pregnant, I'm hearing, or have some kind of surgery or health concerns where you're like, I literally need you to physically pull the weight and help me out around here. Yes, I can pitch in and we can work together, but again, it's not just one person that's going to be able to do this, and definitely I can't do it on my own. Your other energy here is sanctum. So it's you trying to find a sanctuary, wanting to find some peace. You guys might need a little bit more peace than you are asking or allowing yourself to have, because this is a Virgo card and this is like a Pisces kind of energy. So some of you might need to kind of go and worry about your own energy. See, sanctuary down here is broken, which wasn't intentional, but it happened. So there's kind of the two sides of it. Some of you might be focused so much on this relationship that the energy is overriding your own peace of mind, your own physical wellness. It's too much, you know. So another person can't be in every area of our energy, being, and life. You know, it doesn't work. And I'm seeing that on their side, that's quite how they're feeling. And they have the Two of Swords here. They're not trying to rush to decisions. They're not trying to go and get into more dramatic connections. You know, they're trying to sit and find their wisdom, because we have these indigos, these kind of third eye colors here. They want to really try to foresee any difficulties. They don't want to make decisions. So if you've put an ultimatum out there, or if you're expecting them to pick sides, you are the highway, okay, you are hit the road, Jack. They're not trying to hear all that right now. They're like, maybe if I just be quiet and don't read their message or leave it on read, then maybe I'll have more time to figure out this situation. And some of you are like, you know what, it's been years. Are you gonna put in work or not? Let me know. You know, now they definitely feel the spiritual connection with you, because we have cosmic community here. And the zodiac signs that are on the bottom are Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Libra, which are basically Cancer, Virgo, Libra here too. So you could be, or they could be those signs. But yeah, it's kind of they have a bigger energy. Like sometimes we're connected to somebody, but that doesn't mean, again, that kind of Pisces energy, or even Aquarian, just because we're connected to somebody doesn't mean that we are ready yet to do all these over involved day-to-day steps, or that we're ready to take on their problems. So if on your side, some of you are really taking on the other person's problems. You're like, you know what, I disturb my own peace to have your back. I get all up in your mix. If you're there, I call all my friends, I call all my family, everyone's concerned, you know, I get very involved for you. What are you doing for me? And they're like, you know, they might kind of have the energy where it's like, well, like, thanks, but I didn't really ask you to do all of that. Like, you know, I love that you have that love for me on a certain level, but at the same time, you can't make my decisions for me, and I can't really be rushed making these decisions right now. So some of you might want to know, like, feel like you're at the point where you're like, I need to know the next level. I need to know the next step. Are we going somewhere? Is this job going somewhere? Is this friendship? Is this relationship going somewhere? You know, some of you are like, are you going to co-parent with me or not? And so depending on your situation, you might need to kind of take a step back and take some time and focus on your own energy, because Virgo energy can really deflect their own issues by focusing on other people's problems, or what they perceive as someone else's problems, like making someone have to make a decision, and then when they can't, act like it's the other person's problem and the other person's inefficiency at life, right? So some of you are doing that, and it's like, dial back. They feel a connection with you, but you put them on the spot like that, they're gonna pump the brakes, right? They might have Mars and Taurus or something. They're not gonna make a decision. They might be like Aries, just buck. They're like, no, I ain't trying to be forced into making any decisions right now. For those of you who are coming from another angle and you're like, no, this is a situation that involves children, it involves, can you be there to pick them up on time? Can you co-parent with me? Or, you know, are you invested in the situation? Because at this point, it's a real deal. Like, it needs to be done for your sanity and the safety of your family and what's going on in your life. I wouldn't say that you can really count on this person all the time. They basically have hit the big pause button. That's what I'm seeing, like, psychically, when I look at this, is the pause button. Sometimes people can really take us for granted. Yes, so this person has more of a community energy. So sometimes people can take us for granted if our spirits like connect with theirs, right? Because we kind of feel like that person's always going to be around. Or it's not, sometimes it's not that we take them for granted, it's just that we feel a different vibe with them, and that vibe that we feel is greater than trying to risk it on all of these, you know, quick decision, relationship decisions, or kind of current worldly concerns. because we feel like our spirit has this understanding with their spirit. And so I feel like that goes on a lot with the person in this situation. I think that you guys might have some like 11th house astrology, or you've just been like, you know, connected in a very community way a lot in the past. And so they, even if this is like your parent or something, it's like they want to get in a community way with you. Or if this is like your boss, so some of you might be like, I want you to do the work, I just want you to play the role, I want to have roles very specific so I feel safe, I want to know what the next level is that we're headed to. And this person is more like, you know, seeing things like their spirit, even if they're not like spiritual, like, you know what I mean, like their spirit is more just like vibing out, like, okay, you know, we're cool, everything's cool, everyone's gonna flow and have their space. It kind of is like when people get upset and they're like, oh, they friend zoned me, and that person's like, no, like, I love you and respect you, and this is just our vibe, like, I'm not gonna waste that on us trying to date, or, you know, I'm not gonna mess up our connection. Like, that's the energy we have. Like, I want you to stay in my life, and that's important to me. So some of you, I think that's what it is that this person kind of values you more just on that kind of energetic level than maybe on some of the other roles or things that you want to accomplish. I can feel people getting frustrated. Maybe this person's your boss and you're like, I don't want them to be my friend, I want them to get the job done and be the boss, or different things like that. But I feel like rushing this person's not going to get the results that you're wanting. And I am feeling like there are particular results you want with this Eight of Pentacles, because this is very, you know, very action oriented. Like, okay, let's move, let's, you know, again, next level, let's go. You want to know all, with the fox there, you want to see and know all the different transformations, right? The fox, you want to know every level what's going to happen, and it's just not coming like that with this person. So yeah, the biggest advice here is to get your peace, okay? Reclaim your peace. And it's also the fact that as much as we can feel like certain people are safe space for us, yeah, so the best advice for this situation is to create your own sanctuary, be responsible for your own energy, your own space, your own pace. Trying to project that onto this person or anybody is not going to be healthy. So if you're wanting to invest in a new home or something, it's like, work on what you need to do that. If you're trying to get to the next level in your career, you might have to be more you know, focused on your goals yourself and not overly dependent on a mentor. Parenting goals, the same. It's like, whatever it is, you first need to pull your energy back to yourself, not kind of project that on what your expectations of the other person are, and then start making moves for what works for you. And that's going to help you move in the right space to get things done that you need to get done, okay? And I feel like this person has good energy towards you. I just don't feel like they have all the same decisions and opinions about what to do with this lifetime or with this relationship with you, okay? Baby magic's in the room. So that is your reading number 1. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I will talk to you soon. All right, for those of you that chose number 2 and the Aquamarine here, we did have a lot of intermission, and yes, we did find out baby magic can still reach onto the table. If you hear crying in the background, I don't know that you guys will be able to, but that's a neighbor's baby. I think the babies work in tandem. They switch off sometimes. That's definitely where you can see like astrology transit sometimes. Like they both will get going in the same day, neighbor baby and baby magic. So love to that mama. I understand what you're going through. You can make it. Baby, take a nap. Yes, so a little behind the scenes here on Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart. So for those of you who chose this juicy luxe aquamarine, just pop in with the trident there. Let's see what you got. This side is for you and this side is for them. You got the 8 of Wands reversed. And you got radical community, wild resilience, social artistry, riot, ferocious compassion. It has the sign of the honeybee and of the sign of Cancer. This group here is Pussy Riot, and they performed where women were not allowed to counter that ideology and that political, like there was laws and rules and stuff, and they ended up getting arrested and held for like months. You should look it up. It was a big thing, like the UN and everyone had to get involved. So you have some radical energy over here, ferocious compassion that you're bringing through. We have on their side the Devil reverse. I'll let you see it upright so you can see what that card looks like, but it is reverse. I love the colors on that card. And you got this card here, which was a tribute to the energy of Pele, the volcano goddess Pele of the Hawaiian Islands. She bubbles up with a great fiery force that is both destructive and creative energy at the same time, and has directly taught me many things about the nature of the cycles of evolution. And it's so interesting because on your side you literally have a volcano right here, but you're like reverse. But how, what, isn't that so like, readings are amazing. So so what's going on here? I definitely am seeing like this butting of heads. I don't know if you both have like fiery energy in your chart, if you both have Uranus energy in your chart that collides and clashes. What's going on in your synastry and your composite charts? Your energy is like that of a fire Mercury, like maybe a Mercury in Aries, Sag, or Leo, or one that is aspected to Mars in the first house or aspected to Uranus. Basically, you might be trying to bite your tongue a lot and not pop off as much as you want to, and hold back this like deluge of communication that you want to send to this other person. Sometimes you might want to tell them about themselves. It's like they can kind of get under your skin in the way that others cannot. But you also feel like, you know, probably to be so direct might not be the best course of action, but then, you know, at times you just can't help yourself. Yes, so the energy here is very head to head. It's very dynamic. It's almost like when you want to I'm getting the image like when, you know, when like a little kid wants to love a cat, and you already know, right? And they're like trying to like catch this cat and love this cat so intensely and so ferociously, and the cat's like, oh my god, leave me alone, you're constricting me, what's going on? And there's like, they both might really love each other, but there's just boundary issues, and that's what it is. I'm getting some boundary things. I'm getting sometimes where you guys bump, like just smash heads, and it's like, you know, I protest. You know, there's times where you hear the words that are coming out of their mouth and you're just like, did you really say that? Like, is that how you think? Is that how you feel about things? And you know, just really have times where you feel like you need to check them. Sometimes some of you haven't expressed this yet. You're really internalizing it, and it could be something that's frustrating to you. You might come from like a marginalized community, or you might you know, feel like they just don't understand you know, certain dynamics like that in the world. Now I'm also seeing some of you are, the other person is someone that you want to protect. You want to shield them from everything that you see them going through, and that puts you through a lot of pain to see this person not be understood in the world, or to not be safe. So that can also be there. But I do see, like, you know, trying to figure out the boundaries. How much should we love someone? When should we be blunt with the person and kind of check them on things? When is it okay to you know, be like, that's it, this is my boundaries, I'm clearing my space? And when is that too much, and we are kind of expressing to an individual something that we're frustrated at in a larger view? Now I have Cancer energy here. You guys have some Cancer energy, which lets me know that there's nurturing that is here. You guys could have some fourth house stuff in your chart going on, but I also get like a big Aquarian and Aryan energy here. So there could be Sag as well. So there could be like Mars in Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius, Mercury, Moon, anything in Aquarius basically, where it's like, I'm gonna love you, but I'm gonna love you radically you know, kind of energy there. Now you could also be an artist, so that is just there in the undercurrent, but I think a lot of you guys are like decolonize and chill. Yes, get it, boost. So on their side, you know, they do kind of match your energy. Now this person some of you, the dynamic is the person might be coming out of like addictions, or they might be coming out of really, really bad habits and behaviors, and you might kind of be sitting there with a whip trying to get on them a little bit too much. Okay, it could be a thing, because I feel like they've learned a lot about transformation, right? They've learned about how their fiery force can be destructive and creative, and they're trying to figure out their own path, and they're trying to figure out their boundaries with all that. So I see them as having an awakening. I don't see them as like not being in tune with themselves or anything like that, because you might think that about them. You might think, oh, they have so much potential, but they don't realize I got to break their head open. If I don't nurture them, they're not going to know. If I don't tell them, they're not going to know. And I don't think that that's the case with them all the time. I think, yeah, they could definitely be toxic to themselves and others, and very, very stubborn. You both can be very stubborn, but I think the energy here is more that it's just their own pace. They have a Capricornian kind of energy. There could be some Virgo, some Scorpio over here, and then the fire energy, Sag, Leo, Aries. So, you know, putting those combinations in the chart, they have to come to it as they will. You know, you try to drag someone like that kicking and screaming, they're going to burn the whole house down on purpose just to be like, oh, you think you're going to tell me? They're going to light everything on fire. And so with this person, you know, they're still going through that process. Like, it hurts when you realize that you've been really messed up, or that you hurt others, or that you haven't been doing things correctly. And I feel like you bring that up for them a lot. Sometimes it's directly, sometimes it's just by your example and your actions. And so this person has to really sit like, man, like I got a lot to unpack over here. And they have to really break it all down and see how to transmute that and like stay who they are, but be better than what they were doing. And so that's like a big thing for them. Now, I do see them wanting to get out of a relationship that they thought was toxic for some of you. So for some of y'all, you might really be wanting to reach out to an ex, or you want to rekindle something and all of that karmic twin flame soulmate, what is it, all that kind of thing. I feel like this person, if you guys have had a toxic relationship together, this person is not wanting to go into that anymore. They're having, you know, their own kind of maybe counseling and things, and their own advice from others in their life, their own spiritual guidance that is like showing them that that is not healthy. It's not good to go into that, and wanting to go forward and evolve, wanting to be in different dynamics. So some of you have to kind of know, that's that Aquarian energy. You don't know it all, right? We don't always know it all for the other person. And sometimes, you know, we're sitting there barking at a person, you need to change, you need to grow, but that's just the dynamic that you have, we have with them, right? If they go on to another situation, another synastry combination with someone else, or just a different environment, they might be able to grow and understand and learn. And part of that could just be being around people who see them as their equals, right? So y'all don't want to get too much in the zone where you feel like you're saving the person, or that you have to do it or no one else will, all those kind of things. This person does have to find their own footing. They do have to learn not to be codependent, but they also need to learn to be around people that they that will find them at like in a respectful, equal kind of way. And if they're not around that, it's going to be very hard for them to do the growth that they need, and to, you know, kind of have the pride in themselves that they need to have. So yes, if there's any toxicity I'm seeing, it's like, no, do not reconnect. Do not keep pushing the issue. Do not try to save the person. That's very explicitly clear. If it's just a matter of these boundary kind of issues and some bad habits that have been going on, tempers, oh, I'm seeing tempers and bad habits going on. It's really about rechanneling that energy, right? Can you have a dance fight instead? I understand right now. I was just working on my own kind of frustration and temper feeling. Like, I don't like to be like upset and angry in that way. I don't like to have to raise my voice. And sometimes when you're interacting with another human being, it feels like that's the only thing that you can do, right? Now, do we have the right to be angry? Do we have the right to express a loudness of voice at times? Yes, we do. But is it always what feels good to us? Is it always what gets us the result that we want? That's the thing. So you can do that, but it's not always going to get you the result that you want. So the advice can be to have a little bit of sweetness with your bee stings, right? Have a little bit of honeybee energy. but don't sacrifice who you are as a person in your own personal boundaries at all. So some of you, it's not saying be nice like that, right? Because some of you aren't really speaking your truth forward, or you're not just letting yourself move forward. Yeah, moving forward, that's what it is. For some of you, it's like looking for closure, but it's kind of like closure for what? Like what is closure? A lot of times when we say we're looking for closure, we're just looking for an exact answer that we want the person to give us. You know what I mean? And this person isn't trying to be in codependent cycles or to hold themselves. Like, this person is not holding themselves to the karma that you say they deserve, right? They're not, yeah, that's not a thing. They're just trying to find their own truth right now. And so waiting for someone, as they're trying to figure themselves out, to come and give you the apologies or the validation or the encouragement, you know, wherever dynamics, this is a general reading, so I have to kind of hit all the notes that I'm seeing here, that only inhibits yourself, right? So at this point, it's like, try to move forward, try to reclaim your space and who you are. Definitely excuse me, reclaim the energy that maybe you have given away to the other person in trying to establish this connection. But even if you still, you know, you're like, this is your partner, you've just been having a little spat, or it's just been some kind of strange energy as you've been growing and becoming more passionate with each other and about life, and separately having separate passions and hobbies, you still have to keep your energy to yourself in certain ways. You know what I mean? We have to have our own personal identity energy to ourselves. We can't push that on another, and this person's going to push back if you're doing it. They're going to want to leave the connection if you do that. They want to thrive and have their own space, right? Pele went to a whole different area than her family and created her own islands and everything, right? We have the energy of hibiscus and coconut there, if that's significant for you. If you use those in any you know, workings or anything like that. So that's kind of the energy. Here, it's good to be loving. I think you guys have some big, fierce hearts. It's good to have, you know, some chutzpah and be able to, you know, speak your mind and claim who you are and not let people cross that line of disrespect. Okay, let's be clear. But also, it is good to make sure that others in our relationships with us have that same space as well, you know. And if things are going in a way that is not healthy, we don't have to force any roles upon each other. That's it. We don't have to force roles on each other. We should be freeing each other, you know, not saving, but just making it more room for each other to be more and more free. And that's what's needed for a healthy connection here. So that's what I would suggest. Yeah, if you want to maintain a healthy connection, and be honest. Some of you haven't yet been honest about who you really are, or dynamics that you don't like don't touch my hair, right? Or because this can be any type of relationship, or, you know, that's a slander when you say that, or it's a you know, things like that. Some of you might need to put some boundaries with people you really care about, but they're doing it wrong. All right, they're doing it wrong. And with the Eight of Wands reverse, you haven't told them because you don't want to fight. You ain't trying to pop off, but internally, ooh, it's making you mad. All right, this could be with your family. This can be with your mama. This could be with anybody. So speak your truth, but also move forward in your own way that doesn't rely on somebody else making space for you, okay, or having a certain reaction for you, because they're trying to get their shit together, which is good. I'm glad that they are. So yes, that is your reading. I think you guys need to take a little time and space. Whenever the reading comes out a little stilted and starts slowing down, that means that y'all have to bring in that little patience, a little count to 3. If you can't make it to 10, you know, a little chillness to your energy there. Okay, it'll help. Thank you, number 2s. Like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you on another one. All right, number 3, sweet like honey. Yes. Ooh, ooh. We got honey calcite. Let's see, for you, you'll be on this side here. We have the Fool reverse. Ooh, and we have Dark Rebel reverse. From darkness comes light. There we go. It's Misty Copeland there doing the ballet. And so we have Scorpio energy and Uranus energy. Some of you might be from the Uranus and Scorpio generation. On their side, we have the Knave of Chalices, or the Page of Cups. We also have Never Say No to Adventures, Traveler on the Threshold, and it was reversed, even though I don't always, some of these are reversed for y'all. I don't always do this deck reversed, but we have Jupiter card, Adventures, Never Say No to Adventures. And here, this is like the lights as you fly over like the country. And then here we have all the astrological symbols, and here we have the planet Jupiter and the glyph of Jupiter there. Never say no to adventures, but it's reversed. So someone's saying no to adventures. Okay, what's going on? What's going on? All right, very I'm feeling strong, like Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus energy in your connection. There's also strong Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Okay, and of course with Jupiter here and Uranus, Aquarius and Sag might pop up, but a lot of that kind of universal energy. Yeah, universal energies between y'all. So your energy, both of y'all are not wanting to start something new in some ways, because your energy is like, I don't know about this new start, or maybe you're not trying to move on from this connection, but there could be something new that you're being, like, the universe wants to push you into, but you're using that energy of the Fool and the Dark Rebel to rebel against that, right? From darkness comes light. You know, so from where's that deep wisdom? The Fool connects to the deeper hidden wisdoms of things and brings those wisdoms into the matrix. But you're not wanting to know some of those truths. It's almost like you're hiding some parts of your own identity, some parts of yourself. So how can this person truly connect and know who you are? And some of you, okay, some of y'all are literally like incognito browser, the whole nine. Like, you are not going to let this person know how much you want to connect with them or what's going on with you. Now, for some of you, it might be you feel like a good reason. You're like, maybe you had a falling out. Overall, I don't see that either of you as horrible people, anything like that. I see some people, some of y'all, your paths just went separately, or some of you, you just got went to different places, like spiritually, or just the things that you are concerned about right now. It's almost like one person wants to go and feed the children while the other person wants to go save the whales. And it's not any disrespect, it's just like you just kind of happen to go separate ways, is what I'm seeing for some of you. I'm getting friends a lot with this, so I think there's a lot of people that chose number 3 in regards to friends. And in that case, I think that you might just be more intensely a little bit radical with them. There's this radical theme in these cards. You might be exploring things that are more hidden and intense and really packing a punch. Like, maybe you really just went straight for the occult, right? Or you really are championing causes that are like those like scorpionic causes, like, okay, I'm gonna go and advocate for people that have been through sex trafficking and like really hard-hitting things, is what I'm seeing. So there could be the dynamic where you guys have this kind of you know, nothing bad towards each other, but one of you just wants to be like, oh, I'm just trying to be more, I don't know, fluffy about things, and one of you is like, I'm hard hitting, yo. Like, I'm intense over here. And so you could kind of miss each other's expressions. You could have different love language expressions in your relationships, or you just might kind of be bumping and moving into separate circles energetically. Yeah, but both this relationship, as much as it has these big cosmic energies, doesn't seem to have really gotten off the ground. It's like, skirt. It's like a little 2-passenger plane trying to like get off the runway. Nope, still didn't get off the runway. You know, or like when you try to do the yo-yo and it doesn't yo-yo and it's just like boop 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 boop. You know, that's the feeling I'm getting right here. Like, I'm getting all these really funny images. Or like when you're trying to jump rope and you skid your toe, like your sneaker catches, right? And you're like, oh snap, just a minute, restart. That's the feeling I'm getting. I think a lot of y'all, some of y'all, you connected when you were young, and maybe this is something you're trying to revisit, is a relationship from when you were younger. you know, you were in school or something, you're trying to figure out, okay, but what if, but you guys have grown in different directions. Also for you, you seem to, like I said, be very, you don't really show who you are in a lot of ways. Like you're intense, and in some ways you do, like you have strict boundaries and stuff, but like people don't know what's really going on with you. Like they just don't. You're Scorpio, hidden reverse Scorpio energy. Like that's intense, right? Some of you got like Scorpio moon, Pluto, 8th house, all that. You Scorpio stellium in the 12th house or something, like some intense, like you hide that stuff. Ain't nobody coming in. You feed out information that you want through the mail slot, right? Kind of energy. Or at least this is how, well, it's not even how people are perceiving you, because this is the energy that's coming out from you. So some of you might have really gone through something intense. I'm seeing labor, birth kind of energy here. It could also be someone that passed away and not being able to move on into the or move through, let's say, to the phase of life where times are happier. I don't feel like this in a bad way, like condescending or anything. I feel like sometimes, I don't know, some people, you know, some of us are just able to handle those rougher aspects of life more than others are. So I don't want to say that it's wrong. I do feel like it would be good for you to come up for some breath of air. I do, because this person does have Page of Cups and is towards you. And I think if the opportunity to connect was there, I think they would. However, let's talk about them. On their side, they could definitely be a Pisces or Jupiter rising. They could have Jupiter on their Venus, Sag Venus, Pisces Venus. Okay, they could have any of those energies. I'm getting Leo too. I'm getting a Leo energy, but it's like if the opportunity presented themselves and they could get some kind of signal from you, because they're kind of shy, then they would make a move. You guys might be at a distance from each other. That's a big thing. You guys could be at a distance. There could even be like overseas from each other, or one person's by water and the other person has left being by water. So maybe one of you moved. It would probably be you that moved. For a lot of you, they still look like they're in the same place. So there's a question of that, of kind of reaching you. How do I reach this person? Like, I got love for them. I want to reconnect. Maybe they tried it a little bit, like to come and heart something. That's what I'm literally seeing, is hearting stuff on your, or dropping a heart in your comments or something. Maybe they tried to reach out and just let you know, hey, there's at least a good vibe here. If they can't confess. Some of y'all did get some little confessions or even a little proposal, and you were like, what is this? What? But for most people, it's just like, if they felt like you were, like if you were to get in the same room with them, then you would see that the energy is good there, that they're putting out welcoming energy, but they're not going to go out of their way to do it, right? Because it says never say no to adventures, it's reverse. So they're not trying to put themselves out there, okay? And yet neither of you. You're like, this fool ain't trying to come out the ocean, get new legs. I'm gonna keep my mermaid tail, thank you very much. Like, I saw the Little Mermaid. Ain't trying to get my voice snatched. Like, you guys, you too much. It's like this little standoff over here. Both of you sensitive, both of you shy in some ways. Both of you just get really caught up when you fall in love with people. And I'm getting friends, and now I'm moving into the romantic energy. So I'm really getting a lot of you maybe were kind of friends or acquaintances with somebody that you are also romantically interested in. And you're wondering, but it's like, if y'all don't get in the same room, or at least drop the guards when you are around them, so you have to give them kind of a wink, a nod, or something, you know. You gotta bait that mermaid, okay? You gotta let them know in order for this connection to exist in a bigger form. And also, some of you, it's like, you gotta make your social media not private. Like, they're trying to look and see. They can send a message if they wanted to. You got everything so blocked up, okay? You might have to go and travel and just, oh, oh, I just happened to come to New York. I just happened to come to Montana. I just happened to come to Brazil. Here I am. Tag yourself. No, so yeah, there's a whole range of energies here, but I am feeling a lightness and a love. I think you guys usually have love for each other. Sometimes you might get a little intense and like, I don't need them. I'm still mad about such and such. Cause we got that Scorpio energy. You ain't forgotten. You didn't look at me when you came into class that one day and then you laughed with that other person. I still remember that. So it's like, come on, y'all, let it go. Let it go. Cause looky here. Then we have, boom. Then we have two people moving towards each other. Yeah, see? Look, get this going, get this popping. All right, for those of you who have had concerns about children, and some of y'all, you're like, look, if this child don't stop rebelling, whoo, like, I'm doing what I can to control myself because I just about ready to boot them out the house. But you can't because they're grounded, right? They're gonna turn around. I think they're feeling restless. That's what it is. If you're having something with the children right now, they're restless. They need to travel. They need to get out. They need to exercise. They need to explore the world. They need to connect to new information. They're feeling like, okay, I know everything about the stuff around me. I need new information. I need excitement. I need to know about the greater world. So if you keep them in that zone, that Page of Cups connection will come back to you. Because some of you are like, oh, you're just feeling like, never mind, I guess the sweet part of this relationship is over. Just in general, I don't feel like the sweet part of the relationship is over. I think that sometimes we get into frustrations or just into our own head in life so much that we forget how to connect to the sweetness between us, but it's there. All right, so overall, I feel good energy between you and this person. If you feel like there has been things that you really, you're like, nah, I really can't get over that stuff from the past. For a select few of you, it's like that. It's like, okay, go ahead and let each other go your separate ways energetically and just let it go. And that's okay. No one has to be like the horrible person or nothing like that. Some of you are like, there's going to be a few like, no, they're the horrible person, right? Look, the Scorpio energy. But mostly, it's like, yeah, just decide. Are you ready to let them go out and just let them loose in the world? And energetically, that was a nice connection, but it didn't really develop, and there we go. Or are you actually going to take action steps? Okay, look at dancing, sailing, jumping towards this person, traveling towards this person if we get things going. So that never say no. Okay, and move forward. I do think if this person at some point, like you guys started kind of talking and then you stopped talking like that, I think they regret it, because it's, the never say no was reversed, like, shoot, I should have said yes. And here they are coming towards you. If you are somebody who is in you're trying to make a connection with somebody who has a same-sex relationship, it would be a same-sex relationship, or it would be something and that would be new to them. Maybe they haven't expressed that yet. That could be why. They could have a shyness and a little bit of awkwardness. Or if this is like, let's say this is the first relationship after someone has been widowed or had a divorce, or you're young and this would be like your first big relationship, all of those firsts, that could be why that this person's so shy. Okay, so it's like, don't take it personally. Some of y'all are taking everything this person does personally, and it's like, no, don't take everything personally, and read through the lines quadruple fold over here. They're just kind of, they're figuring things out. They're figuring things out in life, and they do, as much as they can seem boisterous and confident and all of that, and they have a part of themselves that's actually not so reckless, a part of themselves that's, very sensitive. They don't want to be rejected and things like that too. Just like you over here had that Fool reversed, you do too. But you cover it up a little bit more with toughness and, kind of a different vibe. So just be aware of that. I hope this information gives you guys some kind of energetic vibe that you can be like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. Give you some tools to move forward for your particular situations. I'm reading very vast situations for general readings. So, I know all parts won't apply, to the T probably for every person, but this is just a way to get a little taste, hopefully help you get on track so that you can handle your relationships the way that you see fit. All right, so that is it for you, number 3, for this reading. You can definitely pick another pile if you have other relationships you're curious about, or want some information or insight on. And please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on another one. Number 4, we have the Sea Urchin Spine. And we have your cards here. Let's see, for you'll be on this side. Ooh, your energy is the Judgment card. We have Water Song, Wild Wisdom. Wisdom gushes from a mysterious subterranean vein. Yes, definitely could be water signs. We have a strong Scorpio energy here. It could also be Pisces or Cancer on the side. You could also have strong planets in water houses, which is your 4th, 8th, or 12th. And you can also have a very dominant Pluto in your chart for y'all. Their energy is the Knave of Swords or the Page of Swords. And we also have butterflies, and there is no birth that is not bloody. That's intense. Okay, so they have a strong Gemini energy. Could be also Libra, Aquarius, but very strong Gemini. So most of these readings today have been have had Aquarius, water, or fire signs. So it's good to see another sign here with Gemini popping up. Okay. So what is your energy in this relationship? So y'all, some of y'all are about to drop the gavel. You're like, nah, like I either need to see you change or you be honest, or, you might have to go, because you're over here. You're like, I took so much to cultivate my life. You've really searched a lot through yourself to find your inner wisdom, your boundaries, to place your affections in the right hands. And I feel like y'all don't want to let anybody just come up in your heart space, what you work so hard for. So it's kind of like, okay, yes, I'm loving, I'm wise, I'm a good person, I know that, but that doesn't mean that I have to give that away to just everybody and anybody. And this person's coming in kind of curious, and you're like, you're coming in curious? Like, oh no. Like when people say, oh, that's interesting, or oh, I'm just curious about this, and you're like, this is my life. How are you going to be just curious? How is it going to be just interesting? I don't think so. And so it's kind of different levels, right? Because this is kind of like Scorpio and Gemini, totally different. Like there's similarities, like they're both interested in the mind and stuff, like psychiatry, psychology, but it's not the same. It's not the same vibe. So on their side, they have this Page of Swords. They definitely could be spying around. I think they might be coming out of it because they're kind of leaning away. I do feel like they are trying to have their own evolution a bit here with butterflies, which have both actually a Scorpio and a Gemini energy. They could have both in their chart: Gemini, Scorpio moon, Scorpio, Gemini moons, Scorpio's Gemini rising, all that kind of stuff. They could have Mercury in Gemini or Scorpio. So yeah, this is a whole vibe over here. But I do feel like to them, like the energy, like what's this connection? I do feel like you are somebody, the way your chart is, your Pluto is probably a big deal between your chart and Mercury I'm seeing, but I feel like you were kind of activating their Pluto in their chart, or at least similar energy. When someone activates our Pluto, things can be intense, they can be deep, they can even be volatile, but that's also where our Pluto is, where we transform. When our Pluto is activated in our chart, it's where we truly are like, man, I have to transform. It feels like you have to transform or die. Like that's how Pluto feels. It's so intense because it's like it shakes. Yeah, so it definitely seems that you guys are triggering this transformation, and most particularly you to them. So you have different wisdom and experiences, or you've had different ways of learning from yours. I do see kind of you having the more spiritual responsibility, if it makes sense. Basically, if we are, you know, so woke or we're so wise about things, we have to also be mindful when the other person doesn't get those things yet. For instance, like we all decolonize at our own space. So I might be like, feel a certain way about certain dynamics, but I have to be compassionate with my brothers and sisters who haven't yet come to those conclusions, just like people who put me on were compassionate with me. And it doesn't serve to just kind of break the person's head open. So that's this situation here. You might be this person might be on some shady stuff sometimes. They might, you know, you're like, oh, they can be so mouthy, they be clapping back and stuff. But I do feel like your spirit has more age on yours than theirs does. Or at least in this dynamic of what you're concerned about. And so kind of holding them to these standards, if you're being all spiritual and everything, and you're dropping the gavel, it's like, just have wisdom with that. I'm not saying that you're not supposed to. Some of you, yes, I do feel like you are going to decide to go and rebirth away from this relationship, and they're going their own way too. And that was the whole point. That was the beautiful karma you guys were meant to fulfill, is to just kind of trigger something energetically with each other and to move on. But it's to have compassion here, because it's saying if you have this wisdom and insight to this connection, even having the tools like tarot and things like that, you have to put things in perspective a little more. Not everybody has the same tools. Not everybody grows at the same rates. Not everybody has the same coping mechanisms or handles their transformation the same way. And that part right there is the biggest thing to know in the situation. To the other person, they have to go. It says there is no birth that is not bloody. They're about to go through it. Like they might be making a big mess of things. They might be all over the place. Or that could be why they haven't made certain changes. It's because they're afraid of that. Like, it's gonna be messy. It's gonna be messy, right? It's just like artists. Some artists have everything perfect. Like, it's like they're having surgery or something. And some artists are like me, it's explosions. Everything is everywhere. And that's part of the fun creative process. Everybody does it different. Everybody does soul growth differently. And so it's like, as you are, I think there's a lot of people that you kind of bring insight to, that you spark on the journey to further enlightenment or awareness and things of that nature. And that water song, the call to music could be a very big deal for you as well. But I think a lot of you might be people who are already doing readings or healings, or you just really identify with that. You talk about those kind of things a lot. And so people do, this person does kind of expect that of you. Like, okay, you're talking all that. Are you walking all that? You know, they're over here trying to do their own path and figure things out. And they are growing and learning from their own things and from you as well. But yeah, it's a lot of information. They have that energy of like a young student who's trying to like process all this information that's going on. Some of you, like I said, you're going to decide to move away. I do see some people who asked about maybe like false friends or ex-friends. I do think it's good to part ways. It's kind of like they can see you if they need to. Don't feel like you have to overly go and save people. It's not about saving people. It's about compassion with the wisdom that you have. And to be understanding. It's like basically it comes to the point that either you can, you know, have a good vibe and stay in each other's life, or, you know, you kind of sense that this dynamic is just not going to be a good balance, and it's better that we separate ways before it gets too wonky. That's kind of the energy here. But I don't feel like at this time this person is going to always, like, you guys aren't always going to be equal partners right now, the way this energy is. And it could be interesting. Some of you might be asking about a parent or something of that nature, and that could be weird, you know, if you're having quicker spiritual remembrances and awakenings than they are, and then they have to ask all these questions and they're unsure, and they might be, you know, coming off handle a little bit sometimes and things of that nature. So it's not that it's easy in the physical realm, it's just that the connection is very spiritual, and it's a lot very like psychological. And I think that the other person has to logically figure out all of this kind of stuff. It's almost like they're doing their their spy work, spy kids over there. They're, you know, recon and trying to figure out what they believe, what makes sense, what doesn't, what's true, what's not. So if you are wondering about a relationship dynamic, I think you're drawn to this person because, you know, your spirit feels like, one, that the biggest thing is learning. Okay, the biggest thing, that was it. That was the biggest lesson. Why are we drawn together? What is this learning? Is to learn to some souls, the way they bump into each other, they just get it. They just get catapulted into what they need to learn and grow in this lifetime. And it's not about trying to grab them and be a romantic soulmate. Like, that's not the main point. Now, there could be additional, you know, kind of roles that we go into once we're here. We might be like, hey boo, you cute too, but that wasn't the point of your soul connection. Okay, the point of your soul connection is that the way your spirits lined up, you could just bump each other into, it's almost like the rafts, when you're in the rafts in the pool and you and your sibling want to go in different ways, or you want to move faster, and so you kind of go towards each other on purpose and bump into each other to use that energy to help you like get to the other side, but in different directions. You know what I mean? Like, boom. It's that kind of energy, you know. Or when you're playing in the ball pin and you like throw a ball and bounce the other ball away, like you make them hit each other, that kind of thing, right? Some of y'all wanted to do that. And that was what you guys could offer each other's spirits, is to, like, you know, tag team. I'll push you over there. Yeah, I'll meet you at that time in your life. If you haven't gotten that insight or you aren't listening at that point, I'll show up, I'll bounce you that way, and then you grow, I grow, cool. So that kind of thing. Their energy might check yours a lot if you're getting pompous. I do see them having this dynamic where they really want to remind you of like humility, and that could be a thing, right? Oh, you so old school? Really? I don't see you acting like it. So you're so old soul? I don't know if you acting like it. So they do bring that. Now, that doesn't always mean that, you know, if you're bringing wisdom, if they're bringing that youngin' energy, that fresh energy, a little rebelliousness to the situation, that doesn't mean y'all will always be doing that accurately. Because once we come down here in human bodies, we start wilding out, and sometimes we teach people the lessons, but in the wrong way, right? For instance, you could start being too pompous, and they could start being, you know, taking you down in a way that is critical or embarrassing, or, you know, something of that nature. But really, it's just meant to kind of help keep balance. And it's kind of the energy of like the elder and the young child, who both have a lot of wisdom, who both have their own stories and growth, who both connect to all that is, but in different ways. Yeah. So if this is more like an office place thing, or like I said, an ex-friend or something, I don't feel like you guys are always gonna be on the same page. I don't feel like you're gonna want to sit there and do all that soul work. You might just go into those roles of, I don't like you, I don't like you. Like, why are you judging me? Why are you judging me? Like, it just very quickly can go into that space of like, you know what, you judging me, you think you know better, you don't know my life, don't tell me what to do. Like, you're gonna resist that thing that should be that good bump to push you into the right directions. You're gonna be like, don't tell me about me. You know, I definitely see that happening, because you have judgment and you have the critical mind. Pluto and Mercury, they can really beef it out. And so you just have to be aware of that. Some of y'all, that's what's going on. You and the other person could feel like you have the right to commentate on the other person's life, and that you both know more and you both know best, and all of this kind of thing. And that's not gonna be a good throwdown. The energy should not be to win. It should be to educate and to allow each other to grow and develop in your own spaces at your own pace, period. But if they're acting a fool, or if you both are, the energy is more on your side as far as universal energy. Spirit expects more from you in this interaction to pull it together. You kind of have more spiritual credentials, so they're like, look, you better be the bigger person. You better be the bigger person in this situation. And that also comes with understanding that if this person, I do see some contracts here, but they're not like huge, in-depth, like well-written contracts. It's almost like this person wrote on a napkin like, okay, yeah, I'll be in a relationship with you, but they just like wrote it on a napkin and pencil or something, but you're serious as hell because you've been doing soul contracts for 30,000 eons. And to them, there was just like, it was more spur of the moment. Their spirits just kind of flitting around, experiencing what they could experience. Maybe they were like a fairy last time. Like fairies take their words for it, but more in the moment, you know, they're more in the moment. So you just may have to be understanding that what you take so seriously, what's so deep, you feel so deeply about things, isn't the same as this person. And who they were when you met or who they are right now is not at all who they're about to be. They're barely started truly transforming. No matter how much they've already transformed, like they have so much like claiming of self and developing of self that they're gonna be, that could be another reason that your spirits push each other away, because they're not even, you're like, oh, I want this person, let me have this person, or I want to deal with this person right now, who they are, and they're not even who they're gonna be, right? So I do see them improving, getting better. I'm not saying if something's toxic, I'm never saying stay in it, period. All right, don't get me twisted. Don't get me twisted. But I think that this person, they're going to be different. So you trying to project who you think they're going to be and like read their spirit and their soul and be like, this is what we're going to do. This is going to be our relationship. This is who we're going to be. No, this person's about to have a big change up. Some of you, it's your sibling or a close family member or even your own child. Sometimes the people closest to us are the people who can inhibit our growth the most. And I really see that dynamic happening. There's love here, right? You got love for them, but and even some of y'all, you're like, this was my enemy I was reading for. Well, your spirit's got love for them. But sometimes the people who are closest or think they know us the mostest, you know, are the people who in fact have no clue what our spirit has planned to unfurl and grow into, have no clue how powerful and dynamic, how much we can change and grow. You might have no clue that this person wants to be an aviator or something, you know what I mean? There could be something that to you would think they were acting so out of pocket. Oh, since when do you do such and such? And to them, they're growing into who they always were going to be. As a matter of fact, I feel like they have blind spots, that they have parts of themselves that they never imagined they would do. You hear people say that sometimes when they're really successful. They started off on a completely different path, never would have chosen what they grew into, and yet they end up loving who they become and the gifts that they discover in themselves. So yes, like some of the other readings in these options, I'm seeing the need for some space. You are right to make judgment calls for your life, depending on how they're acting. Because some of you, like I said, are in those kind of ex-friend situations with someone spying around and bickering and judgment and critical. Yeah, it's like, just move away from that. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean, you know, necessarily that they are. Y'all could just be acting funky. Okay. But yeah, use your inner wisdom. You have a lot of inner wisdom. But if you try to use that to overpower and control people because you have some soul age on them, it's not going to do good. And that's what this person will remind you of. They will remind you of that in your interactions. All right. So there are some insights to these connections. I hope this was helpful to you and a little fun. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm still on that Gemini season tongue, y'all. Subscribe and comment down below how this resonated with you. And I will talk to you soon on another one.